Going live right now. So we are live, everyone. Hello, welcome. We got Mel, the Aloha Shirt Psychic, in the house.
Hey.
How are you doing? How was your trip?
It was good. My husband's company gave us a free trip, and it was called, what was it called? Deserts and Canyons of the American West. So we spent a couple days in Death Valley. And it's funny, the hotel we were in, because it's irrigated, was this green, like really green. But you go right outside of the hotel, and it's just brown and rocky. And they close the hotels in the summer because they don't want people going there because it's too dangerous. It's, we went to Furnace Creek. Geez, I wonder where they got that name. We went to Badwater Canyon. And Badwater Canyon is the lowest point below sea level in North America. It's also the hottest spot in the world. And so in the summertime, it gets to be like 130 degrees.
Oh, wow.
And there's no cell phone coverage. So we were on a coach, thank goodness. But, they don't want people there in the summer because it's so hot, tires blow out. And after 15 or 20 minutes, you can die. And people do. So they say, do not go there in the summer. But the day we were there, they were having a cold wave. It was 102.
Yeah.
That was in April. So,
right.
Yeah. But it's dry heat. Yeah, thank you. I'll open the oven and jump in. Dry heat, too.
I do better with the dry heat. Like, although I'll pass on 130 degrees, but I can't deal with like hot and humid like Florida.
I'm from the South. Give me the humidity as long as there's a breeze.
Yeah.
But outside of Louisville, where I'm from, when it gets hot, there's no breeze and everything just stagnates. It's like,
it just feels so sticky and gross.
But Hawaii, it gets humid, but there's always a trade wind blowing, so it's like it's a little bit better. We had a great time.
And then you were going down to the you said you went to Arizona. That's where you finished.
So what we did is, we run a coach. We spent one night in Vegas at the Luxor, which Gary won $100. I lost $100, so whatever on slot machines. Vegas is not my thing, but it was whatever. And then we got there that afternoon, and then the next morning, the coach took us, down the strip so you could see all that stuff. And then I got a picture of one Elvis impersonator talking to another. I go, oh, that's a doppelganger, right? So the coach ride to Death Valley. Death Valley is a national park, and it's huge. It's like 200 miles across. It's huge.
Okay.
Anyway, so it was a long coach ride. So after, we were at the hotel for a couple nights there, then we took the coach into Arizona. And we went, the old Route 66. And so we saw where they interred the Japanese in World War II. It was a concentration camp, actually.
Yeah.
And then we saw some ghost towns along the way. The wild burros. One came right up to me, and let me pet it, and I gave it a piece of apple, which you're not supposed to do, but I did. It was such a nice burro. I don't know. And then from there, we went to Arizona. And so we took a 2-hour train ride up to the Grand Canyon, the North Rim. And so we visited there. And then from there, we went to Sedona. And we took a train ride through the Verde Canyon, which is really cool. That was a 4-hour train ride. It was really neat. We hung out in Sedona for a couple nights, and then we came home.
Fun. I haven't been. I was in Vegas when I was a kid, so I didn't have a whole lot of fun there. I haven't been any more west than that, but I've been to the Grand Canyon a few times. I just find Arizona to be so beautiful.
They say the North Rim's a little bit less touristy than the South Rim. So the next time we go out there, I want to check out the North Rim.
Cool.
So anyway, well, that was that. And then I get cataract surgery on July the 6th. And then on July the 20th, they do the other eye. And then, on June the 6th. And then June the 20th, they do the other eye. And wait, did I say that right? Yeah, June 6th and then June 20th. And then July the 20th, we're leaving for the Croatia thing.
Fun.
So I've still got 4 openings if anybody's interested. The reason I had openings is because 5 or 6 people canceled at the last minute. So anyway,
I think you asked me before too. I feel like you'll fill a couple of the seats. I don't know if you'll fill all 4, but I
Well, I sold 2 already. There was 6
It was
available,
what I was feeling. Yeah.
but I still got 4 open. I hope I can sell at least 2 more.
Yeah.
My goal was to fill the yacht. I had it full, but then 5 people canceled at the last minute. So
Right.
5, that was 6, I think. So
You're going to still have a wonderful time.
oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah. It'll be a fun time. I think the weather's going to be nice too. I think it might be a little hot and humid, but
I like, well, you know, we were in Croatia once in July, and it is hot, but I like that, you know.
yeah.
I'm the only person that wears flip-flops in Europe, probably, but
Oh, they don't wear flip flops in Europe?
no, well, they do, but not like me. I mean, people are looking at me. I'm going, yeah, they're flip-flops. Okay.
Yeah. I like to wear my flip flops in the summertime.
I can't do anything without my flip-flops.
All right, everyone. So if you have any political or world event questions, go ahead and write them in all caps with a couple heart emojis. It is going to be a little bit of a quicker show today. Mel has something to do, and you said 45 minutes.
Yeah, I have to go to a fundraiser. So
Well,
it's not a fancy one, but I still have to show up. So
yeah. Well, if you want, we can get started on the breaking news today with January 6th sending subpoenas to McCarthy and Jim Jordan, Brooks, a couple people. I think there was like 5 of them in the House.
you know, it's funny. I worked all day, so I didn't get to really watch the news. And I had seen that McCarthy would be called in, but if he refuses to go, then they will, you know, send him over or refer him over to the DOJ for.
I think they're going to do it with all 5 of them. I don't see any of them really willing to cooperate.
They won't.
Their whole goal is to try to delay because they think that they can take the House in the after the midterms and then get rid of the committee. It's not going to work, and I see it being referred to the DOJ. And
I just wish the DOJ would make some progress.
Yeah,
but you know, they're painfully slow. But I understand why they have to be.
Well, and as I keep saying, when these January 6th they start having the public hearings, it is going to be so crazy. And I see a lot of them in the House getting in a lot of trouble.
I wish they would have done that sooner. You know, you were right. I thought the judge would rule against Marjorie Taylor Greene running again, but he didn't. But I see her with legal issues. So maybe I was confusing that with what just happened.
That's what I'm feeling too, because I feel like she might get reelected, but I think it's very short-lived because she does have some legal issues. I feel like.
I see a lot of legal issues coming for her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the big question on everybody's mind is Roe v. Wade.
Yeah. What
do you think?
Well, I feel like there is going to be some setbacks with that. But my guides told me when I read on it a week ago, it was just going to be temporary. So I think that, you know, it might go to the states where they can make their own rules for, you know, a few months. But I think it's also going to get a lot of women out to vote for the midterms, and even independent and more moderate Republican women I feel them being very outraged by it. And a lot of them voting for Democrats. It's going to definitely get women out to vote.
Oh, you mean the Putin party?
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling them now, the Putin party. The Poopkin party.
Yeah, but I feel it's temporary. I don't think I'm not feeling them going after gay rights. They might talk about it. I don't think they're going to have a chance to do that.
Oh, that started already, and they're going to, you know, when they were attacking the trannies or for transsexuals, I knew they would start about gay marriage. And one of those justices, I forget, Alito or something, you know, it's horrible to the American religious institution and Excuse me. How are 2 people getting married who love each other harmful to the religious institution in this country? It's bull hockey.
Right.
I started to say the other word, but I didn't want to.
But yeah, I see it being a temporary, you know, I don't see an outright ban on it. I think that they're going to let the states make up their rules. I feel after midterms, I do think that Congress and the Senate will pass something for, you know, like a federal law for women's rights.
But, well, they can still take it to the Supreme Court. But isn't it sad that if they kick it back to the states, that in some states a woman could, have reproductive rights, but yet in another state, if she exercised those rights, she could end up in jail. I just find that an abomination.
Yeah.
You know,
My guys say it's going to be temporary, though. I don't see it very long, and it's going to outrage a lot of women and get them out to vote for midterms.
good. I see more justices on the court.
Yes.
And I think Moscow Mitch thinks that he can take back over the Senate. He's going to be in charge, but he ain't. And what about Manchin? Because when they were trying to put that, to codify the reproductive rights law,
he voted against it.
No, he voted against it. Sinema voted for it. I was amazed, but I think Manchin is a Putin party in disguise.
Yeah, I've read on him and Sinema. I don't know if there's a direct Russia money connection, but I feel like there's definitely a GOP, and so in some aspect, we know that a lot of the GOP gets their money from Russia, so it kind of funnels down. But
well, I think Putin with his cronies are kind of orchestrating a lot of that too. I mean, this country is very, very, very polarized. I've never seen it like this, and
yeah,
all these. I'm just so tired of these white racists, who claim to be religious and they're not. All right, trying to tell the rest of us what to do, and they are clearly a minority. It's like an American apartheid. It really is seriously, in my opinion, authoritarian socialism.
yeah.
They say they're not, but they are. Because think about what one of those Josh Cowley was trying to do to Disney, like take away their franchise rights. So it's like, if you say something that we, the government, don't like, we, the government, will take away your business. In other words, your private property. That is called, look it up, authoritarian socialism.
Isn't it funny too? Because isn't the Republican Party all for big business, but the minute business has something to say about,
goes along with them,
right?
And they talk about individual freedom, but yet you're the ones taking it away.
Right.
Can't say gay in Florida. Don't want women to have the right to choose what to do with their body. They talk about the right of an unborn child. Those people don't give one hoot about that. They're trying to play the ultra right religious, or whatever that is, fascist, Christian, whatever, just to stay in power. My big question is, they're going to force somebody to have a baby. Then what happens to that baby? What if the woman's not prepared to take care of it? They're not, they're against the social programs.
Right.
They're against Planned Parenthood. They're against putting money in to help these kids. So
they don't care about the baby after a woman gives birth to it.
Right.
They just want to control,
correct,
women's.
And then they're still working on, you shouldn't have to wear a mask. I mean, how many people did they let die? It's horrible.
I just find it kind of funny that they're so, that they're so upset with all of the protests going on with the Supreme Court, like protests outside of their house. Like they're so concerned with that and comparing it to January 6th, which is.
They don't care.
Right. Do they care when
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, do they care when, all these anti-abortionists go outside of Planned Parenthood and protest and do all that? We don't hear anything from them then.
They're just trying to justify January the 6th to keep their base, okay? People have the right for peaceful protest. The people that are protesting in front of the Supreme Court justices' houses aren't threatening them. They're not breaking in. They're not threatening to hang them. They're not trying to overturn the government or an election. The insurrectionists were doing all of that. So it's Mitch McConnell keeps defaulting back to the leak. Well, the reason he does that is because it's diversionary. Because if he talks about who leaked it out, then he doesn't have to answer the question about reproductive rights.
Well, who do you feel like leaked it? So who do you feel like leaked that Alito's, I don't know what it's called, to get rid of Roe versus Wade. I kind of feel like it was a clerk connected to a justice.
It was.
But I feel like I feel like other people have said that they felt like it was Clarence Thomas, but I was feeling Roberts because I just feel like he is so angry with the Republican Party, and I feel like there is going to be more stuff coming out about Clarence and his wife that he's very nervous about. He's very worried about his legacy, and I actually think he's really strongly considering stepping down from the Supreme Court.
Plus, I see that there's going to be calls for impeachment for at least 2 of those judges on the Supreme Court. And I see them impeached. Impeached means brought to trial. I don't know if they'll be removed from office, but I keep seeing 2 more justices off the court.
Yeah.
I don't think Roberts might change his mind about Roe v. Wade.
I don't think he was one of the justices that was agreeing to that decision.
Because right now it's 5-4, I think.
It's 3-6.
Oh,
and Robert's been voting a lot with the more liberals.
I thought it was 5-4. I thought it was 5 the ones to overturn Roe v. Wade and 4 that didn't want to.
I could be wrong. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows, but.
And I asked somebody ask about Elon Musk buying Twitter. He hasn't raised the money yet, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And remember when we were talking about that, and you asked me, I said, my guides are telling me he's going to have a hard time raising $44 billion.
Yeah. Well, and I just read I think on Tuesday, I keep on having people ask about him buying Twitter, and because everybody's so concerned about Trump going back to Twitter. But I don't feel Trump going back to Twitter, and maybe it's before when I read on it, I didn't feel like Musk was going to buy Twitter.
So I think he's going to have a hard time raising the money, but let's say, God forbid, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
Trump's going to go in there with his lies and stuff like that. The people are going to sue Twitter for allowing people to slander and lie on there. And it's going to be a legal doo-doo show.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like Trump, too, has been told not to go back onto Twitter. I think he's trying to promote his Truth Network or whatever it's called. Joke.
That's going to last as far as a snowball in Hades.
Right. And I see. I don't think if Trump went on Twitter, which I'm not feeling him going back onto Twitter, I think if anything, it's going to get Democrats out and riled up to vote.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't see it being, I'm not afraid, even if he does go back onto Twitter, to be honest with you.
Well, I think this whole Roe v. Wade thing is, you're right. I think it's inciting, not inciting, but it's telling people, go vote against the Moscow party, the Putin party. Right. I cringe because a lot of those ultra racist white men who are, the rights of the unborn, they have mistresses, and how many of their mistresses have gotten abortion?
Right.
And they don't want anything. Who was it? Hawthorne, who brought out that they're doing the Coke parties and all of this and all of
Hawthorne, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's out. They've turned on him.
I know, but you know what? He told the truth.
Right.
And you know what? He's going to spill more beans. Yeah. Yay.
I forgot what I was going to say. I don't know. Anyway, we can go on to some questions, but let's see. So butterflies are free, asked, will the water shortages spread across the U.S.? I feel water issues for a few years coming more into like the West and into the Central. There being some drought issues, but I think it's a couple of years.
But we had record snowfalls, but some areas will get a lot of rain out west and others won't. There's a drought right now in Sedona, and it's so dry that a lot of these plants that depend on the water, because it's really dry there anyway. I mean, it's kind of critical. And so I think this is going to go on. You're right. It's due to climate change.
Yeah. And like I said, I think even in my 2022 predictions, I felt like a lot of the fires is going to keep on going on for a few years, and they're going to go more and more east. They're not going to stay so much in the West. Like I see them really affecting like Colorado and even into Nebraska. Like they're coming more east than what they were before. But it's going to be an issue we deal with for quite a few years.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a drought out west, and like in certain restaurants when you'd go, they would, they didn't serve you water. You'd have to ask for it. And that drought lasted for a while. And so I think at least 4 or 5 more years, these conditions.
Yeah.
We've got to work on climate change.
Mm. And I know, I think there's a lot of big fires in New Mexico right now, and I feel like they're going to burn for a while still. I was feeling like sometime I feel like they might get some rain in the area like middle of summer. Like I was feeling like maybe July, end of June, July. A lot of them stopping, but it's going to go on for a little while, unfortunately.
That's what I see too.
I remember what I was going to say before. We were talking about women being amped up to vote, and Democrats, even if Trump went back on Twitter. And I was going to say, I've been saying for a while that I felt Biden would do some student loan relief before midterms and really get a lot of young people out. And we're finally hearing him talking about doing some of that.
I've got a funny feeling there's going to be some kind of relief check coming before the midterms, some kind of relief coming that'll also get people out to vote.
Connie says that they get monsoons in Tucson in July. Yeah, I feel it like it's sometime in the middle of summer, end of June, July. New Mexico's going to get some rain.
Good.
I wish it was a little sooner, but all right. So Firefly asks, will Manchin go down in any way?
I kind of, well, it kind of already is with the Dems.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's from West Virginia. They're pretty conservative. And so, I understand that it was a tightrope for him. But,
I mean, even if he would have voted for it, they still wouldn't have had the votes to pass it with the filibuster.
And he knew that.
Yeah, that's why he didn't vote for it.
Right. I don't understand why they couldn't declare the nuclear option.
What, get rid of the filibuster?
Yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did when they were in power.
I see the filibuster going, I feel, after midterms.
Well, that can be good and bad, because if it's ever close again where the others are in power, then the Dems could use their filibusters against the Poopkin party.
Yeah, I think it's hard, but you know what? I think in the long run, if we did get rid of the filibuster, I think it would be for the good. Yes, we might have Republicans come in and do some stuff that they weren't able to do before, but I think that Americans are really frustrated that the government's not working, because these parties don't work together, and they're not capable of doing that right now. So to actually get anything done, the filibuster has to go.
Because Mitch McConnell is doing the same sort of obstructionism that he's always done. And he's the one that started this type of obstructionism. But my guides tell me is there will still be a filibuster, but there will be checks and balances, so that they're not going to be able to block, certain types of legislation by just filibustering it away.
It might be, I'm feeling like maybe going back to like the talking filibuster, where they can debate it as long as they want to, and then go onto a vote where they get rid of the 60 votes, and it's, whoever has the majority. But, Republicans or Democrat, whoever's in control, can stall that vote for as long as they want.
Yeah, but the Dems don't have 60 people. Right. So I don't know what it takes to use the nuclear option, but
I think they just need, I think they can change the rules with a simple majority and get rid of it.
Well, at some point that'll happen.
Yeah, and Lynn makes a good point too. They can carve out the filibuster for constitutional issues or voting rights, that kind of stuff, because I think they just need a simple majority to do so. What I get, I don't know. I think Manchin just got reelected, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. No. But I see him being irrelevant after the midterms.
Correct.
My guys have showed me that the Democrats will get a net gain of 3 to 5 seats. That's what I've continued to feel. And so Manchin and Sinema won't be able to have the control that they had before. We won't even be talking about them after
they really need to start being more aggressive, and start really coming out with a plan.
Yeah.
Because, if they don't, they could very easily still lose the House and the Senate. So yeah. I don't think they will, but my guys tell me there's a possibility, a strong possibility.
I feel like with a lot of this January 6th stuff, I really see Democrats like this summer really taking the offense, which they've needed to do for a while now.
Well, I heard Bill Maher say once, and I agreed with him, that, you got to look at the social issues, but But people, when it comes to the economy, they don't give one flying, you know what, about the social issues. They're more busy looking at the economy. So, you know, that might change.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that, you know, the Poopkin party with trying to overturn Roe v. Wade and this and that and da 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 da. All they're doing is energizing people not to vote for them.
Yeah. And Biden's got a few tricks up his sleeve to help with inflation and rising prices.
He does.
I feel like there's going to be a couple things that come out, and it could very well be a stimulus check like you're kind of feeling. But I feel like maybe even like gas vouchers or something. I feel like he's able to get it under control before midterm.
I see a relief package coming and some other things to get people out to vote.
Yeah, I see the party being energized by midterm.
You know, Elon Musk, I think, owns Tesla, and I think what's going to happen, you know, even if he did get Twitter, which I still think he's going to have a hard time raising all the money, a lot of people won't buy Tesla. They'll buy other electric vehicles from some of the other manufacturers for entertainment purposes only. But that's what my guide showed me.
Yeah. Well, and I think even like the Tesla stocks are really starting to dip right now too.
That's why.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Marie Henson says all Teslas are recalled.
I'm sorry?
Marie Henson said that all Teslas were recalled.
Oh, I didn't hear that. For what?
I didn't either.
I can Google it and find out.
I definitely feel like his stock and everything is really starting to tank. And even Twitter stock, I think, is tanking too.
Who, Ford?
Twitter stock.
Oh yeah, it's going to tank. Absolutely. I mean,
maybe that's why it doesn't end up going through too.
If he succeeds in buying Twitter, all right, their stocks are going to be so far down, nobody's going to want to invest in it.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to want to advertise. No way.
All right, let's see. Claudia asks, Putin puppet rep Rand Paul has blocked the $40 million aid to Ukraine bill. That means that the bill won't be voted on until next week. What will happen to the bill and to this trader? I see the bill going through.
I see the bill going through. How could he
There'll
block?
be quite a few Republicans that vote for it too.
How could Brillo? He looks like he's got a Brillo pad on his head. How could Brillo had stopped that? Or
it probably goes. Hold on one sec. That's better. It probably goes to some committee and then they vote on it. So he probably just delayed the vote. But I see it going through. And like I said, I feel that they're going to have the 60 votes to get it through.
My guides tell me it'll go through.
Yeah.
So Rand Paul's going to carry all that blood on his hands for those people he let die because he's trying to make a political statement to the ultra right. You know, he lived in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you know he lived in a subdivision where they had rules and he didn't abide by them because he was one of those Tea Party, individual freedom, right? And I guess his neighbor, he was so mean to his neighbor. His neighbor one day had it, and they got into an altercation. His neighbor beat the you-know-what out of him. And the neighbor ended up being accused of battery. I don't know what the outcome was, but Rand Paul's the one that instigated it. So he's really difficult.
Yeah. And I was going to say, too, do you feel like, I don't know when he's up for re-election, but do you feel like he's getting through again?
He's going to be political dog meat.
I feel like another Republican's going to take his seat, but I don't know if he's primaried out or I think he's in some trouble. I think more information's coming about Russian money going to them, and I really see him in trouble for that.
And secrets. I see the number 3. My guys told me the number 3, so it could be 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. There's going to be a lot coming out about Rand Paul that's not good.
Yeah.
Kentucky has a Democratic governor.
I think that's because I think the Republican that was running against him, I think there was a lot of issues with, and I believe Andy Beshear's father was governor, so there's a lot of name recognition in the state.
Andy Beshear's father was governor, but this governor people like down there. I mean, a lot of Republicans like him too. I mean, he did a great job with that tornado relief.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he's a good governor.
I don't know too much about him to really say one way or another, but I think I remember him campaigning, and he seemed like a really nice guy. Really cared about helping people.
He does.
Deanne asks, will they really try to ban birth control? I see them talking about it, but I don't see a ban on birth control. I think they're just trying to rally up the evangelicals and
They're trying to, you know, it's funny. The Protestant evangelicals don't give one hoot about practicing birth control. What they're trying to round up are the devout Catholics, because the Catholic Church is against birth control. And I can say that because I'm Catholic, but I'm not dogmatic, and I totally believe birth control. So that's what's going on. And then they're trying to ban the morning after pill and all of that.
They were even saying banning condoms.
You can't ban what a person chooses to wear on a certain part of their body.
Right.
Isn't it funny? We go back to, they're the ones that talk about individual freedoms. That's important, like the Tea Party and all that crap, and the libertarians. But yet they're trying to tell people, trying to pass legislation where you can't take a pill or you can't wear a condom.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones taking away personal freedoms.
It's very hypocritical, isn't it?
And you know what is funny? Because a lot of the ultra-right supposed Christians, all premarital sex is a sin. Oh, really? Well, how about those that are married that are having affairs and have mistresses, or if they're women have boyfriends? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Geez, I wonder if they're wearing their condoms. No, they're taking their birth control pill.
Right.
I think they even wanted to ban IUDs. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's just crazy what they're talking about. I know that I think gay marriage was kind of passed off of like the statute of Roe versus Wade, so a lot of people are worried about that, them banning birth control, all that. I don't see that happening. I see them talking about it, but I don't see it going that far.
We're going to pick on gay marriage.
Yeah.
What would happen if they did away with gay marriage? Will we not be married to our partners anymore?
Yeah. How would that work? Do I lose my health insurance I get from my husband?
Exactly. Do I lose my health insurance? Do I lose my benefits that I can get, or my husband the benefits he can get from me?
Right.
Oh.
A lot of people feel like it's a distraction too from the Republican Party, and I kind of see that too, because like I said, there's more coming out about Clarence and Ginny Thomas. So,
they're trying to make distractions, and what they're doing is they're pandering to the ultra-right supposed Christians.
Yeah.
And if that's what you call Christianity, what they're doing, then count me out.
Right.
You're right. It's a diversion.
Yeah.
We'll create this smoke screen over here. So over here, we won't have to talk about what we did.
Right. Val asks, will the U.S. lift some of the sanctions and embargoes on both Venezuela and Cuba?
Not right away.
It's not right away. I feel like for some reason, I feel like it might be Cuba that they lift, and this is a couple years out, and then Venezuela is a little bit afterwards. But it's a little bit out there. I think a couple years.
Well, at some point, I do see a Cuba Libre. That means a free Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there were already American hotels vying for beachfront property in Havana.
Yeah.
You know, I think this junta that's controlling Cuba will go away at some point. As far as Venezuela is concerned, you know, I learned Spanish in Venezuela. My roommates were from Venezuela, and I used to hear Spanish every day back when I was in college. And I was in Venezuela back in the late 70s. That was before you were born, Kevin. And in those days, they had a democracy. And what happened was, you know, the rest of the world was trying to get the oil cheap. So I think Juan Carlos Perez, whatever his name was, he nationalized oil. But when I was there, I said, you know, Venezuela was a democracy. And I said, but at some point, I see Venezuela becoming more authoritarian. They're like, oh, no, señor, nosotros estamos una democracia. We're democracy. And I said, I don't know. And here we are.
Yeah.
But I see at some point that authoritarian Now, he is an authoritarian socialist. I see him being overthrown at some point.
I feel like it's more of that revolution is gonna happen Cuba first, and then maybe Venezuela a couple years after.
Well, in Cuba, it might be more of a bloodless one. I think it's just more big businesses buying off a lot of the politicians so they can get businesses going in
get all that tourism in there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Venezuela, I think, will be different.
All right. I think we have about 10 or 15 more minutes. Let's get a couple more of these questions. Valeria asks, does Alito have the start of Alzheimer's or dementia? I'm not feeling that.
No. It was just, if you notice, like with Kavanaugh, Alito, I think Amy Coney Barrett, a lot of those, the remarks they made when they were asked about Roe v. Wade, oh, it's the law of the land, all the remarks were alike. I think that was just rhetoric coming from the Federalist.
Yeah. With you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. So Patricia asks, will Tim Ryan beat J.D. Vance in Ohio? I got all the candidates right that won.
I'm familiar with that, Kevin. I don't know who J.D. Vance or who Tim Ryan are, so you'll have to fill me in.
So Tim Ryan ran for president in 2020. He's from the Youngstown area, very much a Democrat for like workers. Like the Youngstown area really lost a lot of manufacturing jobs, so he really panders to a lot of those. He's a really nice guy. J.D. Vance was, I think he had some businesses out in like Silicon Valley. I know he's like a millionaire, wrote books, but he was the Trump endorsed guy. And so Trump got his guy in, but I feel like it's going to be really close. I feel like Ohio's still staying red, but I think Tim Ryan definitely has a chance. I feel like it's going to go to Tim Ryan, but it is going to be very, very close.
He's got a very strong chance. Look at what just happened in Nebraska. The candidate that Trump supported was primaried out. He lost to the other Republican candidate.
And wasn't the one that Trump supported no, that I'm thinking of a candidate from Indiana. I know that one of them was like accused of murder or something, but there was something wrong. I think with the Trump guy in was it Nebraska? Is that what you just said? There was some kind of scandal around.
They just had the primaries or something, and the one that Trump supported was primaried out, and the other Republican that Trump didn't support won.
But there was some scandal around the guy that he was supporting.
Yes, there was. Absolutely. I forgot. I think it was assault or something. I forget what it was.
Something, yeah. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Patricia. I really appreciate that. All right. Carol asks, when will there be infrastructure for the Northeast for electric cars? It's coming. I'm feeling like 5, maybe like 4 to 5 years. It really ramping up.
Well, I was telling people, my guides told me, like, rather than people, what to invest in, invest in battery technology because I see breakthroughs coming in that. But my guides also said people should invest in the infrastructure to fund buy stock in the companies that are going to put in the charging stations for the electric cars. That's where you'll make a lot of money. It'll be the same people that invested in like filling stations and oil companies when the automobile first came out. They're the ones that made the money.
Was there talk about, because I remember that the infrastructure bill kind of got broken up, the one piece passed, but I know that there's more coming. I think one of the things in that infrastructure bill was getting the infrastructure to charge cars all throughout the U.S. And I feel like that is going to go through, but I think by the time they start the projects and things really, being available for everybody throughout the U.S., I feel like it's going to take, 4 or 5 years.
Well, I've always seen that whole infrastructure bill going through.
Yeah, in pieces.
Right. And I thought it might be before the midterms, but at some point it'll all go through. And, like with high-speed internet in inaccessible areas, better communication, roads, bridges, money into schools, but also charging stations for electric vehicles. I'm sure the Koch brothers, are some of the very, very rich people who had their hands in oil didn't want that part of it to go through, because if there's charging stations for electric cars, that lessens our dependence on oil.
Right.
And Manchin didn't like that part of it, because what business is he in? Coal.
Right. Yeah, a lot of oil comes out from West Virginia in that area.
But if he were smart, right now they have to figure out a way to have the generators run to produce the electricity to power the cars.
Right.
So they can say, we'll look for a green way to use the coal to fire those generators.
All right, let me see. All right, I've gone through most of these questions. If anybody has any couple questions, I think we got like 5 or 10 more minutes if anybody wants to. Anything else? Is there anything that you can, anything that you want to read on that you have any questions about, Mel?
But I think you're right. I think probably in about 4 or 5 years, it'll take to get all the infrastructure in place for.
And really, electric cars really getting a lot more. They're already gaining popularity, but I feel like that shift from oil to electric is probably about 5 years out.
What's really going to gain in popularity also are hybrids.
Yeah.
So, if the vehicle starts running low on battery power, the gas kicks in, and then it helps charge the battery. So, and I see that technology tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad. They should figure out a way they can run cars on hydrogen. The only byproduct of that is water. So that might be a way that they can figure out how to run airplanes in the future.
Well, I think with these electric cars too, there's a lot more like advanced battery technology coming in that I see. You're not going to have to charge your car up as much. You can go much farther. Like the battery power is a lot more stronger. And I feel the federal government, whenever we're making that switch, is going to do a lot of incentives to get the prices down for electric cars.
Well, I foresee, like you're right, I'd say that too, huge changes in battery technology. So a smaller battery that will require less of a charge that can last longer.
Yeah.
So, I see them getting up to at least 500 or 1,000 miles. What I'm thinking is too, somewhere they're going to be able maybe to tap into solar energy to charge those batteries while you're driving. So
you said solar while you're driving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you put solar panels on top of the vehicle or something, or
I hadn't got that, but yeah, as you said that's really resonating with me. I could definitely see something like that.
Yeah, there's some kind of breakthrough in that too coming. So,
Linnea asks, Kevin McCarthy, will he win again? I feel like since these leaked audio and videotapes have been coming out from him, which I think is something coming from Liz Cheney, maybe not her directly, maybe one of her aides is leaking it. I feel more to come. Like there's more audio clips, more videos coming out that is going to be really damaging for Kevin McCarthy. And I feel like Republicans really not trusting him. I got that hit when that last one came out. I don't feel he's going to be reelected.
I just shuffled the cards. I pulled the 6 of clubs for Kevin McCarthy. And that means a very big disagreeable surprise coming his way. So you're right. There's going to be a lot more coming out about him with those text messages.
January 6th.
And I see him being held liable for a lot of some of the stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
And, if he runs again, first if he was anti-Trump, then he's for Trump. And you know what? Trump's going to turn against McCarthy at some point. The same as he's going to turn against Nunes.
Yeah.
So I just see Kevin McCarthy gone.
And it's something too, there's some money that he received that's coming out. He's coming through as the King of Wands, taking money. It's going to lead to a lot of burdens and a lot of infighting within the party with the 5 of Wands. And some kind of truth being revealed about some sneaky decisions that he made that will lead to that loss of the 5 of Swords. I feel him leaving.
He's going to have great chagrin. Chagrin means embarrassment. So he's going to be largely embarrassed. I see him holding his head down like this.
Mm-hmm.
The walk of shame. Let me see. So I think the reason I see that chagrin is because a lot of the stuff coming out about him ain't going to be good.
Yeah. A lot more I feel coming out throughout the summer too.
There is.
I'm not very familiar with who's running for governor in Illinois. So maybe this is a question for you. But Pamela asked, will J.P. Pritzker be reelected?
Well, I think Pritzker probably ran here to set himself up to try to get nominated for a run in the presidential election. I feel like he will run again, and if he does, I feel he will get reelected.
Cool.
You know, it doesn't matter. Like I call him Scrowner. Our past governor was Republican, but it didn't matter because downstate in Illinois, the House and the Senate is controlled by the Dems. So, you know, Scrowner was trying to pull a lot of the repew BS, and the House and the Senate downstate said nope. So,
and then he was out after that, wasn't he?
Yep, he was a one-term governor. But I see Pritzker in office again.
Right.
I don't like some of the stuff Pritzker's done, but on the same token, I didn't like a lot of the stuff that Scrowner tried.
Carrie asked, will there be a civil war? I don't feel that, but I definitely feel like things are being polarized and it's going to take a few years for us.
It is already a bloodless civil war.
Yeah. But not like, I don't see.
No, not like the one in the 18th.
Or, you know, they're being fighting. I don't feel that, but I agree. It has been very polarized. Like you said, a bloodless civil war is a good way to phrase that. But I see us coming back together here in a few years and making a lot of.
Well, the Ukrainian war, the Ukrainian thing pulled a lot of us together, but I think, you know, it's illegal for states to secede from the union, but a lot of the southern states are doing it anyway legally. With, you know, we don't like this, we don't like gay marriage, we don't like that, we don't like, you know, women's rights, reproductive rights, we don't like da 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 da. So, and with their draconian voter restriction laws, so a lot of them are like middle finger at, you know, the federal government, and say we'll do what we want. And you know what? To date, the Supreme Court with this one that's gone has pretty much upheld that for them. But I think they're already trying to secede without saying they seceded.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse here and more polarized. That's true. But what I see is the ultra right becoming more, what's the word I'm looking for? More energized. But when that happens, like with what's going on, that's just going to energize the rest of us to say, we're not going to let that minority of people tell the rest of us the majority of what we can do.
Well, right. And like I said, I feel like a fracture in the Republican Party after these midterms.
You are absolutely right.
And so, you know, we hear so much from the crazies on the right because they're loud and all of that. But I feel like here in a few years, they're just going to go back in their caves and go back into hiding. It's not going to be okay to do that anymore.
I think there will be the old order Republicans like Liz Cheney, people like that. Yeah. I didn't agree with her politics, like Mitt Romney, a lot of those people, you know, keeping the old order Republicans, but the split comes with then I call them the Putinlikins, the Trumplikins, you know, and it is fracturing the party.
All right, everyone. Well, I think we're going to call it here, but it was great catching up. I know it's been a few weeks, but I always look forward to working with you, Mel. Are we good to do this on your channel next Thursday?
Yes. My channel next Thursday. And I've also got to call the crone.
Yeah.
And see about getting her on. I was going to do it from out west, but the problem is the internet connection was really bad. And I was afraid if I did it, that like what happened to us, that we'd lose the internet and be like, because the last time we did this together, we lost the internet.
Yeah, we lost you.
All right. So next week you'll be on my channel and we'll have more time. I apologize about tonight, but I've got to go to this fundraiser. So
no problem. It's always a blast. You're always welcome here, Mel. We always have a good time.
And please, I'm on my end.
Thank you. Please make sure you go to subscribe to Mel's channel if you haven't. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the thumbs up. I hope that you all have a great night, and we will see you all here soon, okay?
Kevin, I'd like to stay in chat after, but I can't because I got to run.
Okay. All right. We'll talk soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.